Hello. Hi, everybody. How are y'all doing? I hope everybody's good. I have to excuse me tonight. I got some sinus drainage. It's driving me a little crazy. But hi, Matthew. Thanks for being here. Thank you guys for showing up. I appreciate y'all so much. I hope everybody's doing good. It is blooming season around here in East Texas, and my sinuses are driving me crazy. Allergies galore. But welcome, welcome. Thank y'all for coming in. Sound of silence. Thanks for being here. I appreciate y'all so much. Y'all are the greatest. Oh, thanks, Matthew. Appreciate it. We're going to do a little talking tonight, and we're going to watch a little clip that Killer Looks has put out. And I know I've talked to y'all about how I have my theory of what happened and everything. So I just kind of wanted to go on and give y'all some ideas of kind of how I come to that conclusion. We talked about the neighbor and the distractions and all that stuff. So there's just a little bit more to it, but I'm going to tell you all about it. And the thunder rolls. Yes. Yes, yes. Oh, yeah. His last video was amazing. He was pretty angry starting out with Ziggy, wasn't he? He was very, very on the defensive. But you got to stop and think, though. I mean, if he really has nothing to do with Summer, and yet he was there that day, what's the big deal? But he kept just putting it back onto, I did nothing to Summer. I didn't do anything to Summer. Well, Fred never said that. Fred just said, I saw him that day. They have him on camera that day. That's all that's been said. Nothing's ever been said that Andy did it. But yet he was very defensive about that. I thought that was pretty peculiar. So I don't know. Like I've told y'all 100 times over and over again, you can pull any person out there, just pick a person, dig up their story, and you can make them fit the right place, the right time, all that stuff. It is crazy. But, anyways, we're going to get started here. But everybody that's here and not chatting, thank y'all for being here. Hey, Happy Hippie, thanks for being here. Appreciate you. And welcome to my bed. I have so much boxes and stuff everywhere around here that I was like, I'm not going to push boxes around just to get to the table in the kitchen area in the dining room. So I said, I'm just going to sit up here on my bed where I'm comfy. So, anyways, so we're going to talk about the darkest day of Summer's life. And we all know June 15th happened. What happened is what we don't know. But we know that that night they started a search. They did the helicopters during the night. They had people out there that evening. It was during the summertime, so you had longer daylight. But you got to remember, these are mountains and trees, so daylight doesn't last as long and as bright as what it might if you live somewhere without all that. But when you know, the sun goes behind a mountain or the trees, it starts to get darker a little quicker. So they didn't have a whole lot of time, but they still had some time to go out there and search. I've heard they've searched 110 a lot. I've heard that several times by several different people that been there, people that have talked to the wells, you know, even, press conferences and stuff have said that they've searched that area very well. And Ronnie Lawson always kept saying he wasn't sure that she actually left the area. And therefore, that search only spread out so far. But something interesting that I saw a little clip that, was put out months and months and months ago, but it caught my eye because that search area and the direction that search was leading in. And it all kind of connects back. So the main search off of 110, we know there was a high ridge just off of Beach Creek. And supposedly there was a footprint of Summers there. The dogs supposedly hit on this footprint on this top of this high ridge. And according to what I'm told by people who have been there, that ridge is high enough that they could look out and see 110. So it's higher than what 110 is. So for her footprint to be up on top of that high ridge, more than likely she was carried up there. She was somehow taken up on that high ridge. But it's probably a place that nobody's going to really go to look because it's so very high. Hey, Miss Chewy, thanks for coming in. Love you, sweet lady. If y'all haven't checked out Miss Chewy's channel, y'all really need to. Miss Chewy, you are great. We love you and thank you for everything you do. But from this high ridge, if you were to go down that ridge on the Beach Creek side, there's that little field there. And that field has another footprint they found closer to the road of Beach Creek. So when they start searching, they really, really get just zeroed in on that field, that area there. And hey, Lady 7 Up. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. So that field right there off of Beach Creek, if you were to search that whole area right there, that means, and they kept, from what I'm understanding, that area has been searched repeatedly. Not just they searched it once, oh, let's go over it one more time. They've come back at dates later and they've searched it again. Well, that search takes off. If you're looking from Beach Creek to that area, that search starts here, but it starts venturing off towards that right side. Well, going towards that right side is a straight path to 162 Fields Road. And 162 Fields Road happens to be where Jody Sue and Andy lived prior to moving to Ben Hill. Now, several times the area there has been searched. That property belonged to Andy's parents, George and Polly Bernard. It was sold, is what we were told. Well, when we started looking into it all, I found that it's in the property of a trust company. And properties that are in a trust like that, they can't be used for, like if you had a lawsuit and you had to give up your property or whatever, that couldn't happen because it's put into a trust. So this property is in a trust and it's attached to George Bernard. So it wasn't sold, it was protected. And I really thought that was pretty interesting because why would they suddenly put that property into a trust after it's been searched? Well, I'm going to play a video for you guys. And I'm going to put up here, let me put up this banner here. So it's a copyright. So we got that going. And then I'm going to share this video of Killer Looks. I want to let me see if I can put his channel in here because I want to give him, let me get back over here. Hold on. Technology gets to be too confusing sometimes. Let's see if this is right. Come on. No, it's not going to work. Okay. Do I have anybody in here that can do that? Let me see here. I don't even have a mod in here. Look at me go. Let's see, Miss Chewy. I'm going to put you as a mod if you don't mind. And if you could share Killer Looks for me, I'd appreciate that. I had it, but I don't know where I got it. Okay, so I'm going to get this ready. We're going to look. It's going to show and talk. You'll hear Don talking about getting to a certain place. And he talks about this old rundown cabin. So this is something that we will be seeing. So let's look at this. And I'll tell you this, the audio, even to me listening to it, was very low. So you might want to turn it up. I've got it up on my end as loud as I can. So that's all I can tell you. Just be prepared because it's not very loud. Okay, we're going to get it large. Let's make it large here. Make it large. Now we're going to play. Here we go.
The best that I can. I talked to CBI about that, okay? So if you come out Ben Hill Road, okay, let me start with the scene, dog. They smelled her clothes. We watched. Me and Candace and watched the whole thing happen. So they took some of her fresh clothes out of the dirty laundry. The dog smelled it. They took them to the basement door. The dog went straight down the dog trail to Ben Hill Road down there. And the dog circled when it got down there, lost the scent. To me, meaning that she was thrown in a car and drove it out of it. Okay, so the footprints, okay, if you go out on Ben Hill Road and you go west, so you go past our property all the way from here, and you get down a little ways west up this way, there's a dirt road. I can't remember the name of the road, but you turn left into that and you'll see a bunch of no trespassing signs and all that. You follow the dirt road and it takes you all the way up on top of that hill up there, which overlooks our property. When you're up
That's
there,
the high ridge,
there,
guys, right
property,
there.
You see our house, looking down on our house, and we live on a hill, so it's pretty high hill. So there's an unfinished cabin up there. This is the way TBI explained it to me. There's an unfinished cabin up there, and it rained like 2 or 3 days before summer come up missing. So they found a footprint around an unfinished cabin, and I went up there and I looked everywhere, and I don't know what they're talking about, an unfinished cabin. I found a trailer. I found 2 trailers, and the other property I was kind of scared to go up around, but I looked everywhere, and I asked them if I could see the casting, right? They would never let me see the cast that they made, but so they found a set of footprints there. Okay, the dog hit on that footprint there. Okay, and then if you come back down out of the hill and come back down towards Beach Creek, they found footprints there. And that's the only 2 sets of footprints that I'm aware of that they told me about.
And if you know what, no reason for Summer to have.
She would never leave from around the house.
So unless somebody dog went right down. See, I work with a traffic dog.
Right.
And I mean, there's no mistaking when they pick up scent.
Exactly.
They don't.
Exactly.
So that's
exactly.
Needs to be explained.
And not only that, they brought the prison dogs out here, a bunch of them, and they went all over the place and everything like that, and they never could pick up a scent. And then after that, they brought a bloodhound up here. and they never could pick up her scent anywhere or anything. So that tells me right there. Yeah, she was thrown into a car and taken away from her.
I asked if the dog barking meant it was her scent. He said yes. Said it had to be a recent print left after she disappeared.
So the footprints, okay, if you go out on Ben Hill Road and you go west, so you go past our property all the way to the end, and you get down a little ways west up this way, there's a dirt road. I can't remember the name of the road, but you turn left into that and you see a bunch of no trespassing signs and all that. You follow the dirt road and it takes you all the way up on top of that hill up there, which overlooks our property. When you're up there, you can look down on our property and see our house, looking down on our house, and we live on a hill, so it's pretty high hill. So there's an unfinished cabin up there. This is the way TBI explained it to me. There's an unfinished cabin up there, and it rained like 2 or 3 days before summer come up missing. So they found a footprint around an unfinished cabin. And I went up there and I looked everywhere, and I don't know what they're talking about, unfinished cabin. I found a trailer. I found 2 trailers, and the other property I was kind of scared to go up around, but I looked everywhere, and I asked them if I could see the casting. Right, they wouldn't never let me see the cast that they made, but so they found a set of footprints there. Okay, the dog hit on that footprint there. Okay, and then if you come back down out of that hill, come back down towards Beach Creek, they found footprints there. And that's the only 2 sets of footprints that I'm aware of that they told me about.
And if you know what, no reason for Summer to have.
She would never leave from around
No.
that. Unless somebody.
Dog went right down. See, I work with the track dog.
Right.
And I mean, there's no mistaking when they pick up scent.
Exactly.
They don't. There's no mistaking. So that's
exactly.
Needs to be explained.
And not only that, they brought prison dogs out here, a bunch of them, and they went all over the place and everything like that, and they never could pick up her scent. And then after that, they brought a bloodhound up here, and they never could pick up her scent anywhere or anything. So that tells me right there. Yeah, she was thrown into a car and taken away from her.
You need a body to be a light to this world. He wants us to be a city that's set up on the hill.
Okay. So, what did y'all think about that? You know, the ridge there, and then down from the ridge goes towards the right. There's that other footprint. And they do say they think she's been moved several times around that area. So I thought that was very interesting, and that shows us a good perception of the distance between the two. And I'm going to show you, let's see, this one right here. I don't know if y'all can see that, but that's the area there. Then we have this one here. And it just gives you a pulled out view a little bit more, so you can see just right up at the top of the corner there is the Wells house where the little dot is, and then the red little dot is where the 162 area is, and that high ridge you can see there. So anyways, oh, Hey guys, I have no clue what just happened. Oh my gosh. I give up on this computer. I'm going to throw it out the window. Are y'all seeing two of me? Because I am. Let me get rid of one here. Can y'all hear me okay? Thumbs up. Can y'all hear me all right? I hope so. Is everybody good? Okay, cool. I hate this thing. But anyways, the show must go on. So with all of the searching and everything that was done and done towards the 162 property, we have to play into or talk about what has been said in the past about this property. Now, guys, this is not something I can come to you and say is 100% true because I don't know if it's true. But there has been talk. And the talk is that on 162, on the Bernard property where Jody and Andy used to live, there was a dug up spot in the ground. And it was freshly dug up. I have heard from a creator that he told me he heard that the dogs did, go out there and they found a scent in that general area right there. So after all of this is done, you have to stop and think if that any of that is true, then you have them selling the property and it's now in the name of a trust. Then you stop and think about the neighbor, and all she does is cause distractions. All she does is talk and talk and talk and talk. But she says she's already told us everything. We just didn't catch it. She has said that there's a well with a cover in green grass, little things. But she always protects Andy Bernard when it comes to blaming him for Summer. Now, let me see if I got one more thing I was going to play for you guys. So let me see if I can play this because her words not too long ago, she has answers. Here we go.
The very things every YouTuber on this platform, national news media, the biggest platformers, everybody else, only dream of holding. And I've held steady and I've held tight for years. I've never come out and said anyone is guilty of anything. Never accused anyone. I've never targeted anyone. I've never tried to harm anyone. Tampered with anyone. I've never asked that anyone be done any type of way like that. But it
Now listen to this one.
Particular pigsty to get to the bottom of things, you have to do certain things. But, as far as Summer goes, I have never, like my shit stayed consistent. My shit doesn't change.
It's that, what would you say? That's a Freudian slip there. Yeah, her shit stays consistent, all right, as in it's always fucking coming down the line. And it's consistent in that it's always bullshit.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? But she has all the things that everybody wants. So, do you believe her? Because I don't. And all she does is put things out there just to cause havoc, to cause confusion, to make people wonder what the heck is going on. So, with all of her distractions, we have Andy, who is supposedly seen at the end of the holler, supposedly on camera at the back of the holler that day during that crucial time, but he says he wasn't there. He was at work. But if it was true that he was there, if it was true that there was some involvement, then you have to think neither one of them will say anything to incriminate the other. Jody Sue herself does everything she can to protect her monster. You know, they have their son that's gone off to the military. Then you have Andy's parents who are protecting their land so that it can't be taken away. Land that could possibly have a big significance. So to me, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to think this could be a cover up. This could be something that very possibly could have been in the beginning of summer's darkest day in the holler. And it makes you wonder, was she in that holler the whole time they were searching? Had they already taken her away? You know, that's something we don't know. And it's so frustrating because here we are, you know, 940 some odd days from the day Summer had her darkest day. And we're nowhere closer. And yet we all keep trying to talk about things and we keep trying our best to keep her name out there. But it's just frustrating because what more do you say? These things have already been talked about. Everything's been talked about. You know, and if you say something and another person doesn't agree with you, well, then they're going to do a live about everything you've said that they thought it was wrong. But here we are, all of us sitting here trying to put together something that we know these things did happen. We know these things are things that happened at that time. Then you hear about other things. So, you know, what do you do? Do you take them as facts? No, we can't. There's no way we can say for a fact there was a shallow grave dug on 162. I can't say it because I don't know for a fact. I've heard other people say it. I've heard and was told, oh, Miss Chewy, it's 994 days. Oh my goodness. Y'all, we're so close to 1,000 days. It's just heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. We all want so bad for Summer to come back. We want her to be found. We want her to be alive and healthy. My gosh, what a great day that would be. It would be amazing. But we don't know if we're any closer. I agree. Bam Bam, why didn't they take that iPad? Why didn't they? You know, according to Fred, they took his phone that day, but they ran it on that little scanner thing and it scanned every bit of information. Now, I'll tell y'all this. When my friend's husband killed himself, there was a group that came out and they were sent by the military and they wanted to see his phone. They wanted information with his phone. And that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to take his phone. She said no. But they could have scanned everything off of it really, really quick. So I know that does exist. I think Candace was hiding Summer from CPS on the 15th. You know, it's very possible that's could have been what the plan was. And maybe the plan went bad. I don't know. I personally, and this is just my opinion, guys, I really think there was a plan in action. There was something that was going to be put into action. But we have heard that Candace was seen in town at a little convenience store on camera. And if that's true, she was sent away from the hill on purpose, I think. Because if Don was home that day, I really think he would have been the one to do it. I think he was the leader of the narrative. If everything else is truthful, you know, that we've been told, if everything is for real, and she was gone, and when she came home, her baby was gone, she very well could have been set up like that. And Dawn is the kind of person that takes charge. Borrowed Angel. Hi, beautiful. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate everybody that's here listening. And, you know, if I ever say anything that you know is not truthful or whatever, you just let me know. Because, like I said, I can't say a lot of this is truthful. I can say we've heard this. I can say, you know, I've heard it's been confirmed. That's all I can do. And all my goal is to try to help keep Summer's name out there. Let's talk about things. Let's talk about scenarios and things that could possibly have played out. But a lot of what I've shown y'all today is what leads me to my way of thinking in my head, and all of these things played out perfectly. They fit into the perfect time. You know, the neighbor talks about the perfect storm. She mentioned that very, very early on. She used that to her advantage. I really feel like she did. We do guess a lot. Yeah, my wrench, we really do. We guess, and that's, you know, a lot of what we can do. We can take stories that we hear, we can talk about things and, you know, but if you want to put a plan into action as far as what could have happened that day, it's a lot of guess. It's a lot of guessing. Like I said, in my mind, these things fit. But I've also said you can pull somebody else from out in that holler, look them up, and you can create a scenario where it would fit as well, because there is a little girl that just vanished. Nothing was left behind for evidence. Nobody saying nothing. It was just boom, she's gone. And whoever did this, whoever has covered up, hey, kudos to them, because someone out there knows and they're not saying a word. Yes, Kim, I agree. I do agree. You know, I feel in my heart that that little girl did not make it out of that holler alive if she was taken out. I know there's a lot of talk about the church. Cher's doing that over on her channel. And, it's very possible they could have been involved. Very possible. We saw that video that Smiley put out, and it shows the little girl that's doing all the same actions and movements and all this stuff that Summer did with Miss Robin. This little girl's doing it now. Is that something they're taught? Is that something they're learned up there? I don't know. But it does make you wonder, did they take Summer away from that home? Did they convince Dawn and Candace that their daughter had to be given up? I, you know, it's it could fit. Anything can fit because we have nothing to go on. But the story of the parents, the mother's timeline is missing a big chunk of time. I don't put blame on the parents because I don't know. And I can't, with my heart, feel okay to come on here and talk to y'all and bash the parents because I don't know. But, there is a big chunk of time and space and everything that day that doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. We've all talked about it. And with it not adding up, it puts a lot of suspicion on the parents. It really does. I hear everybody talking about the home and, how the kids were mistreated and this, that, and that other. I just look at it like this. I honestly, in my heart, believe that those kids were loved and taken care of the best way that they knew how. They were taught how to be who they are. And we all know how their upbringing was. But could they have done this? Could they have gotten rid of Summer? Could they have gave her to someone? Could they have, covered up a accident that happened? Sure, they could. But we don't know. And until we really know, I'm not putting this on, anybody specifically. I just see this pattern with the neighbors. I see her talking about the perfect storm. I see them totally attacking Jackie Dobbs that bought a property right beside them. Things that were done to that man and the hunt that they did looking for him to see where he ended up. People just don't do that. That's crazy. But that was a good, good story. Yeah, Kim. See, I don't think they are masterminds. I really don't. And and this is another thing, and this is just my thinking But with the parents, we have seen them so messed up. So messed up. And we know they're messed up. They have done some drugs and stuff. We've seen it. Yet their story has held. They have not slipped. And that's something that just makes me question, did they do it or not? You know, I don't know. I can say this. I have had my times where I have been drunk. Drunk, drunk, drunk. You get that urge to, hey, make that little call to somebody that you really care about. Tell them how you feel. Lay it all out there. And the next day you're just like, oh my gosh. Yeah, I have. I have told people exactly what I thought of them when I was drunk. Back in my days of partying and going to the bars and hanging out. And yeah, if you want to know the truth, you can pretty much ask me on a normal day because I'm not going to lie to you. But if I'm drunk, you don't even got to ask because I'm going to be telling it all. And so I see the parents doing that, talking, saying things, but they don't give anything up on themselves. Yeah. Oh, borrowed angel. We all have done things that we're not proud of, for sure. But at the end of the day, we've not lost our child. Our child didn't come up missing, and theirs has. And because of that, they're the ones that's gotten thrown into the spotlight. And it's very sad because she was only 5 years old. She's the one that we should concentrate on. You know, yeah, you're right, Kim. They weren't liked in that area by a lot of neighbors. And the neighbor across the street did say if they would just have sold me that property. She made a big stink about it. She was pissed. But her offer wasn't taken. Could that be something? I don't know. I don't know. I have told you guys about the whole situation with Little League baseball and softball going on right now. We had the coach last year that got upset with a kid. He's coached for years and years and years. And never did this ever happen before. But last year he did walk out, start yelling at the catcher because the catcher did not look at the coach first before he made a play. The coach did walk up there, grab hold of the boy, and shake him while he's talking to him. The boy goes to pull back. The coach pulls him up against his body and talks over him like this. Well, the board at the time did nothing that year. They tried to let it just quietly go away, but it never quietly went away. And here's this coach this year, while we're trying to get everything going and get the kids playing ball this year, here's this man has his team gathered up and they're on the attack. Facebook Lives, phone calls, text messages, emails. It's driving me insane. But also, here's a little boy that didn't want to play ball this year because he was scared of the coach. He was scared that would happen again. He was only 10 years old. He goes to school and gets bullied by that coach's elite team that plays tournaments. Those boys are bullying him at school. He retaliated and he got put in ISS. But at the end of the day, I know this coach has never had this incident happen in all the 30 some odd years of him coaching. I know that. But I also know there's a little boy that didn't want to play baseball this year. And when we banned that coach, we went to him and told him, we want you to come back and play. We want you to love the game. We did not charge him to sign up. We put him on a team that is going to have a good coach. But this guy continues to go to the ballpark and goes on the field and coaches kids. Because to him, it's all about him. He doesn't get to coach. He's all upset because he doesn't get to coach. Well, tomorrow night I have a private meeting with me and another board member and him and his daughter-in-law. And I will remind this man that all of this is not about him coaching. It's not about the one incident that happened. It's about the child. It's about that little boy who was just playing a game he loved. He made a mistake or didn't do what the coach wanted him to, but he didn't deserve what happened next. And I'm not here to soothe a grown man's ego. I'm here for the child. And it's the same thing for Summer Wells. The exact same thing. I'm not here to make other creators, happy with what I said. I'm not here to make, everybody ooh and oh, she's such a good person, da 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 da. She really, pays attention to me. I try to pay attention to everybody. I try to always say hi. I really do. But I'm here because of Summer. And if the neighbor doesn't like it because I put her in a certain scenario, well, if the shoe fits, you got to wear it. Because it's not about you. It's about that little girl. It's about the little girl that we all fell in love with. Because if you followed Summer's case for any length of time, not knowing her, doesn't matter. She stole your heart. That little blonde hair, those blue eyes, even the pictures where she's pouty. I love it. It shows her personality. It shows the spunk that she had. Yes, it has to be bittersweet for them, and Cher was up talking with me one night and I told her I feel bad for the parents. I really do. Even if they had something to do with it, I feel bad for them because they have to live with that memory of those kids. Because if they did do something, all of this that they've had to endure is a product of what they did. If they didn't do anything, this is a product of what someone else did. And they're having to live through it. So either way, those parents have to deal with the fact that, they've had kids. They failed as parents. Somehow, some way, they failed as parents. If Summer was on the agenda to give away, to pass off, if it was sexual, if it was, for just hiding her, if it was, to give her to the church so that she has this good place to go to and they're reassured of that. Whatever that scenario would be, that had to be the darkest day of that baby's life because she's no longer able to be in a place that's familiar to her. Hey, Landon. Love you, bub. I missed your live yesterday. I'm so sorry. I didn't get home till late, but I went back and watched. You stay warm. But, anyways, I always just felt bad for the parents. I couldn't imagine it if I did something to my child, even if it was an accident and I hit it or whatever and had to live through that. The emotions, everything piling up on top of them, having to live with what has happened cannot be easy. But if they didn't do it, then they have to live with the what ifs. What if I would have done this? What if I would have done that? What if would play over and over in their heads. So either way, it's a lose lose for them. Either way. Same thing with, you know, Brandy and her family with Little Monkey. I'm sure, you know, that has played over and over in their head. What if? What if? You know, and everybody's pretty sure they had nothing to do with it. They're pretty sure the Wanderers is going to be that final thing. But yet, you know, that what if game has played just havoc in their lives. Because as parents, we feel responsible for our kids. You know, I thought to myself when my son passed, you know, it was in a car wreck on a very, very bad, bad rainy night. And I played that game in my head. What if I would have just begged him to stay home that night? Cook a big dinner for him, make his favorite. What if I would have done that? He wouldn't have been out on the road. Took me a long time, of like a couple years, to let that what if go. He was a grown man. He could do what he wanted. But what if I would have? He would be here. I would be able to hold him and hug him, but I can't. But what if? You know, that's where my heart cannot blame the parents. You know, I was raised with you don't judge somebody. That's God's place, not yours. You don't judge them. And I try really hard not to, but I can't help but judge people sometimes. It's just too easy sometimes. But that's just because human nature. No, thank you. But my heart can't condemn those parents only because if they have any feelings, any human nature to them, any side possible that they have compassion, then they're going to be their worst enemy. You can lock them away or whatever, but they have to live with what was done. It's not my place to add to that. Do I believe they're guilty? It's it's a fine line there because they very well could be. Very well could be. But then again, that one strange instant where somebody came up there, took her away. It could have happened. So it's hard to say because we know that, you know, there's people that know those woods. There are people there that know the woods very good. They know those dog trails. They know a good way to get through to the next place without anybody ever seeing them. Those people that live there know the area. And that's what made me so angry about Ronnie Lawson not letting them search, is because they live there. They know the area. People that would volunteer would be people that live in that area. Oh, Kim, I was one of those people. I jumped hard about that stepmother. I was all about condemning that stepmother in Athena's case because I thought, nah, dad's gone hunting. Stepmom's there, stepmom. No, that was something I would have bet money on. And after that case, when we found out it was the FedEx driver that just happened to see her, that was a big hard lesson for me to learn. I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to do that to any more cases. I wasn't going to just assume because the scenario fit in my mind. I wasn't going to do that anymore. That was where my lesson came in hard. Yeah. And that's, Kim, that's what I'm trying so hard to do, is to be very careful and to, tread lightly, because we know nothing. And I wanted to explain to you guys today how I came up with my scenario. And that's all it is. It is not 100% facts that that's how things played out. But in my mind, I do think that's how it all got started. I do think possibly that Dawn is the one that set this into motion. I do think there is a cover up. But no matter how we look at it, no matter how we set about trying to find the facts, at the end of the day that Summer's found, all that matters is that she is found. All that's going to matter that day is that Summer's found. It's not going to matter so much, oh my gosh, what I thought was the right thing. That's not what's going to matter. It's not going to matter that, oh, you know who came up with that idea? That was their scenario. That's not what's going to matter. It's just going to matter that she gets found. And I want to talk on here. I want to get on here every day and talk about her. Every day I want to. Just to keep talking about her. But I don't want to just, talk about her or talk about other people. And, I don't want to do that. I wanted to just really bring y'all something to think over. That's all I can do. And so I try to go back and listen to things. And when I did go back and saw that video that Killer Looks put out months ago, it was like, oh, this can help me to explain to you guys part of how my scenario just all kind of played out in my head. And that's where I got it from. That's how it all played together. It was just kind of connecting dots for me, because that's all we can do, but there's so many different scenarios. We have to consider them all, and we have to be careful out on these streets, because you have So much drama that's out there. Oh, oh, Happy Hippie, you don't think she'll ever be found? I worry about that. I really do. We do hear Dawn say one time that she'll never be found. She's, probably fish food by now. It breaks my heart. Too much drama, Kim. Yes, too much drama. And you got people they think they're better than everybody else. And, oh, we don't want you in our group. And, I don't like what you had to say. Okay. So I don't participate. Don't want no part of that. I'm just a creator who wants a little girl found. I'm just a person who had something to say and started a channel. I want to talk about more. I want to talk about her more. I want to talk about others more. I am working, guys, on do I honestly think YouTube has helped? I do think YouTube could help as far as keeping her name out there. I do think YouTube could help as far as keeping that information and awareness out there. I do think YouTube helped by bringing out all the registered sex offenders in that area because that was a very hush hush thing there. So I do think it has helped, but I also think it hurt. It turned into so much hate and so much drama that it became a joke to people. And people coming in that's new, kind of like what I did when I first came in. I had hopes. I had hopes that I could be part of something good. Ended up thrown right into middle of some drama, some crap, just because I knew some things. That's when I decided I'm going to speak out. I'm going to have my say because I'm not going to be part of drama. I will stand up for what's right. I'm going to stand up for what I believe in. And I believe in having a channel that I can be proud of, having a channel that can be respectful, having a channel that can listen to everybody's opinions. And there have been opinions put out that had me thinking a whole different way. It can be done. People can share their thoughts and opinions, and they can all help. I mean, that's what it's supposed to be. But when you have that group that is just not good, that's here for the wrong reasons, that group that is more worried about their channel growing and growing and getting up to tens and thousands of people and cash apps and all this, that, and the other, you know, yeah, send them a cash app, send them a super sticker, whatever. Let them know they're doing good. That's appreciated. But when people forget that and forget the reason for those things, that's when their channel has crossed a line with me. When they think that they are superior enough to come on here and tell me how I'm supposed to think, how I'm supposed to feel, that's when they've crossed a line for me. And there are some channels that can do some great stuff out there. But there are those channels I don't listen to anymore because of what's attached. And the drive that's there, they've lost the drive for Summer, yet they've based everything around her. I just can't. I can't do it. I can't listen to a channel where they're talking about Summer and this is for Summer and we're Summer's army, and yet turn around and cuss somebody to the point where it's disgusting. No, that's not for Summer. It's not for her brothers. That will not help find her. That will not help figure things out. And nobody wants to put that out there. Nobody wants that to be heard. So, no, not for me. Yeah, me too, Kim. I have dropped a lot of creators. And it's sad because when I first came on, it was, I don't want to say my life was consumed with YouTube. It really wasn't. I mean, it was a big part of it. And in the evenings when I was here, you know, at night by myself or whatever, I'd always have somebody's channel going in the background. You always had people that went late at night. So you had a lot to listen to. You had a ton of people to listen to. But then all the backstabbing, all the hate, all the drama, made up stories just to get their views up, all the stuff started happening. You know, people started going off on a different path of talk about Summer that I just didn't want to follow. Then you have a, you know, large portion that just quit talking about her. Their channels just went dark. And it's really sad. Sad that we had to go into this new part of her being missing, a new year, and there's creators that aren't out there able to talk because they're tired of being accused of everything. They're tired of being brought up in everybody's channels. They're tired of other people on their channels and the words they use and the things they say. Yeah, a lot of they did go dark because they couldn't take the attack from other channels, Kim. Totally. And it's sad because those were good channels. It was good discussion. It was lots of good. And yet, you know, we all still sit here wondering where she is. Are we going to find her alive? Are we going to find her at all? I don't know. I wish I had answers. I wish that day would come when somebody has the balls enough to stand up and say, let me tell you what I know, because there are people that know. I would bet money all day long on that. There are people that know. But that area, they hold the secrets well. They keep their mouths shut. Been doing it for a long time. And they're not going to say a word. And it's the saddest thing in the world because those people are not for kids. Those people who don't do anything to help her out are people I consider selfish. They're all about them. They're all about themselves. They're not about the child. And there is no time on this earth that I have left in my body that I will ever, ever, ever live a day without standing up what's right for a child. A child doesn't have anybody in their corner if all their grown-ups are going to just be selfish. They don't have anybody, just them. They're little. They don't know all the things yet. It's up to us as grown-ups to be grown-ups. Yeah, if somebody comes forward, because there's nothing other than 2 footprints, since here, sent there, as far as we know. I pray that law enforcement has more. I pray that law enforcement is waiting for more, testing to be completed and come in. I pray that that is actually what's happening. I really hope that Hawkins County is not just sitting there hoping this will go away, because, guys, we're not going nowhere. And I do think in that area there that they were the kind of people that thought, well, this will just be a little country girl that we're missing. But that story backfired on them, because here we are, 994 days later. We're still talking. Guys, that's almost 1,000 days. That is a lot of time. And it's crazy to me that nobody has said anything yet. But it is what it is, and it's where we're at. So hopefully we can keep talking. We can keep going over what we know for sure, what we have heard, and discuss it. We can keep going in that direction and stay positive. Don't feed into the crap that's out there. Don't feed into all the people who want to be the first on the scene or the first one to tell you about something, or, whatever. Just listen. Listen to what is being told that actually has happened. Listen to other creators. If you have time, go back and listen to some old stuff, because that old stuff was put out before all the drama. That old stuff was put out before everything started getting corrupt. That old stuff is what we got to move forward on. That old stuff was the beginning. And you never know what you find when you go back and listen to old stuff. So hang in there, everybody. Hang in there, because we're going to keep going on this route. We're going to keep talking. I'll bring up more stuff that I find, and we can talk about it and discuss it and go over it and just keep talking. Just keep talking. That's what we're going to do. But I really thank each and every one of y'all for being here, because it would be no fun to talk about all this and go over all this and just be talking to myself. So y'all are all so precious. Y'all are so sweet. And I really thank you guys so much. So for now, I'm going to let us go and get out of here. Let you go out on the streets and wander around, see what's going on. But y'all be good. Have a great week this week. I'll try to get back on here in a couple of days, and we'll talk some more. But in the meantime, love and hugs, everybody. Love y'all.